telepathic conversation with your specific person. Imagine for a moment that the most powerful conversation you will ever have with the person you love isn't happening through a phone call, a text message, or a face-to-face meeting. It begins within your own mind. Every day you are silently telling a story about your specific person. You are either repeating fears that keep you emotionally trapped or nurturing thoughts that fill you with confidence, peace, and hope. Long before words are spoken aloud, your inner dialogue shapes your emotions, your expectations, and the way you naturally show up in the relationship. Change the conversation within, and you change the energy you bring into every interaction. Today, we are going to explore how to consciously create an inner conversation that reflects love instead of fear, trust instead of doubt, and possibility instead of limitation. This is not about controlling another person's mind or guaranteeing a particular outcome. It is about transforming your own mindset so completely that you become calm, emotionally secure, and aligned with the kind of relationship you truly desire. When you consistently imagine respectful, loving, and joyful conversations, you train your mind to expect connection rather than rejection. That shift alone can dramatically influence your confidence, your decisions, and the quality of your real-life communication. If you've been waiting for a message, wondering whether someone still thinks about you, or questioning whether your connection has a future, this message is for you. Set aside your doubts for a few moments. Open your heart, quiet the noise around you, and allow yourself to imagine a relationship built on mutual care, honesty, and understanding. The greatest transformation always begins within. As you change your inner world, you become ready to recognize new opportunities, healthier communication, and deeper love when they appear. Your next chapter doesn't begin when someone else changes. It begins the moment you choose a new conversation with yourself. Every thought is an inner conversation, whether you realize it or not. You are constantly having conversations in your mind. From the moment you wake up until the moment you fall asleep, your thoughts create stories, replay memories, imagine future moments, and assign meaning to every situation. When it comes to your specific person, these inner conversations often become the foundation of how you feel and behave. If your mind repeatedly says they've forgotten me, they don't care, or I'll never hear from them, your emotions begin to reflect those assumptions. You become anxious, uncertain, and emotionally exhausted. But imagine replacing those fearful narratives with thoughts that inspire peace, confidence, and emotional balance. Picture yourself quietly saying, I am worthy of love. I communicate with honesty and confidence. I am open to healthy connection. Whatever is meant for me will unfold in the right way. These kinds of inner conversations do not force another person to think or act in a certain way. Instead, they transform your own emotional state, helping you become calmer, more resilient, and more prepared for meaningful interactions. Your inner dialogue becomes the emotional atmosphere in which you live every day. Many people spend countless hours waiting for a text, analyzing social media activity, or replaying old conversations in search of hidden meanings. Yet the most important conversation is the one taking place inside your own mind. Your thoughts influence your confidence, your body language, your tone of voice, and the choices you make. When your inner world is filled with fear, you may unintentionally withdraw, overreact, or seek constant reassurance. When your inner world is grounded in hope and self-respect, you approach relationships with greater clarity and emotional stability. That inner shift often changes the quality of your real-world communication because people naturally respond to authenticity, calmness, and genuine confidence. Think of your imagination as a place where you can rehearse the kind of relationship you hope to build. Instead of endlessly replaying painful scenarios, imagine respectful conversations where both people listen, understand, and communicate openly. Visualize moments of kindness, laughter, forgiveness, and mutual appreciation. These mental rehearsals are not predictions or guarantees. Rather, they help train your mind to focus on healthy possibilities instead of constant fear. Over time, this practice can reduce anxiety and make it easier to communicate with honesty rather than desperation. You begin responding from a place of confidence instead of reacting from a place of insecurity. It is also important to remember that genuine love cannot be built on fear or control. Healthy relationships require mutual choice, respect, and open communication. While your thoughts can influence your own mindset and behavior, every individual retains their own freedom to make decisions. This understanding is empowering because it frees you from trying to control every outcome. Instead of obsessing over what someone else is thinking every minute of the day, you can invest your energy in becoming the healthiest, happiest, and most emotionally grounded version of yourself. That transformation benefits every relationship in your life, regardless of the outcome with one specific person. So, beginning today, become aware of the conversations you have with yourself. Notice when fear begins writing the script and gently replace it with thoughts that reflect hope, self worth, patience, and emotional maturity. Every encouraging thought is a seed you plant within your own heart. Every peaceful assumption strengthens your confidence. Every act of self respect prepares you for healthier love. Your inner conversation is not merely background noise, it is the voice that shapes your emotional world. When you choose words that build peace instead of panic, confidence instead of doubt, and love instead of fear, you take the first and most important step toward creating the kind of relationship that reflects your highest values. The conversation that changes your life always begins within you. Feel the connection. Before you see it, one of the greatest challenges in any relationship is learning not to let your emotions depend entirely on what is happening in the outside world. It is easy to feel hopeful when a message arrives, when a conversation goes well, or when someone expresses affection. It is much harder to remain calm and optimistic during periods of silence, uncertainty, or distance. Yet this is often where real emotional growth begins. Instead of allowing temporary circumstances to define your emotional state, choose to cultivate feelings of peace, gratitude, and confidence from within. Imagine what it would feel like to believe that you are already worthy of genuine love, respect, and meaningful connection. Notice how your breathing slows, your thoughts become quieter, and your heart feels lighter. These emotions are valuable not because they guarantee a particular outcome, but because they help you become more emotionally balanced and resilient. The relationship you build with yourself becomes the foundation for every relationship you build with someone else. Many people spend so much time searching for signs from another person that they forget to pay attention to the signals they are sending themselves. If every day begins with worry, self-doubt, and fear of rejection, those emotions can shape your actions without you even realizing it. You may hesitate to express yourself honestly, overanalyze every interaction, or assume the worst before anything has actually happened. Instead, practice creating an inner emotional experience that reflects the qualities you hope to share with another person. Close your eyes for a few moments and imagine sitting with your specific person in a calm, joyful conversation. Picture both of you smiling, listening, laughing, and speaking with kindness. Allow yourself to experience the comfort, trust, and warmth of that imagined moment. Whether or not life unfolds exactly as imagined, this exercise trains your mind to associate relationships with peace rather than anxiety. It encourages emotional stability instead of emotional dependence. Feeling connected before you see visible evidence is not about denying reality or pretending challenges do not exist. It is about refusing to let fear become your default emotional setting. Hope is not the absence of uncertainty. It is the decision to remain open to positive possibilities, even when you cannot predict the future. By choosing thoughts that encourage confidence instead of panic, you become less reactive to temporary circumstances. You stop interpreting every delay as rejection and every silence as permanent loss. Instead, you recognize that relationships develop through communication, timing, personal growth, and mutual choice. This inner emotional practice also changes the way you interact with others in practical ways. When you genuinely value yourself, you communicate more clearly, set healthier boundaries, and listen with greater patience. You no longer feel compelled to chase constant reassurance because your sense of worth is not entirely dependent on another person's responses. Ironically, emotional security often creates healthier and more authentic connections than fear ever could. People are naturally drawn to those who radiate calmness, kindness, and confidence because these qualities create emotional safety. Remember that meaningful relationships are built through both inner and outer actions. While your mindset shapes your confidence and emotional well being, lasting love also grows through honest conversations, mutual respect, empathy, and shared experiences. Allow your inner feelings to inspire real world behavior that reflects maturity, compassion, and authenticity. When opportunities arise to communicate, speak honestly. When misunderstandings occur, choose patience over assumptions. When challenges appear, respond with wisdom instead of panic. As you continue this journey, let your heart become a place where love begins, rather than a place where fear takes control. Choose to feel grateful for the love already present in your life, hopeful about the possibilities ahead, and confident in your own value, regardless of external circumstances. The more you nurture peace within yourself, the more prepared you become to recognize and build healthy relationships when they appear. True connection starts long before two people speak. It begins with the quiet decision to replace fear with trust, insecurity with self respect, and emotional dependence with inner strength. From that place, every conversation, whether imagined, spoken, or yet to come, has the opportunity to become more genuine, more meaningful, and more deeply rooted in love, I fear. With loving assumptions, fear has a remarkable way of disguising itself as reality. It whispers that silence means rejection, that distance means the connection is over, and that one unanswered message somehow defines your worth. Before long, these fearful assumptions begin shaping your emotions, your decisions, and the story you tell yourself every single day. Yet the truth is that assumptions are not facts, they are interpretations. Two people can experience the exact same situation and arrive at completely different conclusions based on the beliefs they carry within. One person sees uncertainty and immediately expects disappointment. Another sees the same uncertainty and chooses patience, believing that not every unanswered question has a negative answer. The difference lies not in the circumstances, but in the mindset. When you begin replacing fearful assumptions with loving, balanced, and hopeful ones, you create a healthier emotional foundation for yourself and for any future relationship. Imagine waking up each morning without immediately searching for reasons to worry. Instead of asking, "Why haven't they contacted me?" you gently remind yourself, "My value is not measured by someone else's timing. I deserve honesty, kindness, and mutual respect." Instead of replaying old disappointments, you choose to focus on the qualities you want to bring into every interaction: patience, understanding, confidence, and compassion. These loving assumptions are not about pretending everything is perfect. They are about refusing to let fear write the script for your life before the next chapter has even begun. They allow you to remain emotionally steady even when life feels uncertain. You stop reacting to imagined outcomes and begin responding to the present moment with greater wisdom and peace. Our minds naturally seek explanations when information is missing. If someone becomes quiet or distant, the mind often rushes to fill the silence with stories. Unfortunately, fear tends to create the loudest stories. It convinces you that you are not enough, that you have failed, or that the relationship is beyond hope. But there are countless possibilities that fear never considers. People become busy, overwhelmed, uncertain, or focused on challenges that have nothing to do with you. Assuming the worst without evidence only creates unnecessary suffering. Choosing a more compassionate perspective does not ignore reality. It simply leaves room for understanding until the truth becomes clear. Replacing fear with loving assumptions also transforms the relationship you have with yourself. When you consistently speak to yourself with encouragement instead of criticism, you begin developing emotional resilience. You become less dependent on constant reassurance because your confidence grows from within. You recognize that your worth does not rise and fall based on another person's attention. Instead, it is rooted in the values you choose to live by each day. This inner confidence allows you to approach conversations with honesty rather than desperation, curiosity rather than accusation, and respect rather than insecurity. Healthy relationships thrive when both people feel safe enough to communicate openly, and that safety often begins with the way you treat yourself. There is also great wisdom in learning to release the need to control every outcome. Love is not something that can be forced through worry, overthinking, or endless attempts to predict the future. Genuine connection grows through mutual choice, trust, communication, and shared effort. By replacing fearful assumptions with hopeful and balanced ones, you free yourself from the exhausting cycle of trying to manage every possibility. Instead, you become present, emotionally available, and ready to respond thoughtfully to whatever life brings. From this moment forward, pay close attention to the stories you tell yourself. Whenever fear begins creating a narrative filled with rejection or failure, pause and ask yourself whether there is another, kinder interpretation. Choose thoughts that strengthen your peace instead of stealing it. Believe in your own value, even when circumstances feel uncertain. Trust that healthy relationships are built on honesty, patience, and mutual respect rather than fear and assumption. As your inner dialogue becomes more loving, your confidence grows stronger, your heart becomes lighter, and your ability to build authentic connections expands. The most meaningful conversations are not only the ones you have with another person, they are the ones you have with yourself, because those conversations determine whether fear or love becomes the guiding voice of your life, become the person you wish to meet. One of the most powerful shifts you can make on your journey toward love is to stop asking, "How can I make this person choose me?" and begin asking, "Who am I becoming each day?" This simple change in perspective has the potential to transform not only your relationships, but your entire life. It is easy to focus all your attention on another person's actions, wondering what they are thinking, why they haven't reached out, or when they might finally express their feelings. But the truth is that your greatest influence lies in the person you are becoming. Every day offers a new opportunity to grow in confidence, kindness, patience, emotional maturity, and self-respect. These qualities do more than improve your relationships. They improve your experience of life itself. Rather than waiting for someone else to bring you peace, begin creating that peace within yourself. When you become the kind of person who values honesty, communicates with compassion, and treats yourself with dignity, you naturally create stronger foundations for meaningful connections. Think about the qualities you hope to experience in your ideal relationship. Perhaps you long for someone who listens carefully, keeps their promises, offers encouragement during difficult moments, and chooses understanding over unnecessary conflict. Now ask yourself an even more important question. Are you developing those same qualities within yourself? Healthy relationships are not built solely on attraction. They are sustained by character. The respect, patience, empathy, and trust you hope to receive are also qualities worth cultivating in your own daily life. This is not about becoming perfect. It is about making steady progress toward becoming someone who reflects the love you hope to share. As you practice these qualities, you become more emotionally secure and better equipped to recognize relationships that are genuinely healthy and mutually fulfilling. Personal growth also means letting go of habits that no longer serve you. If you constantly criticize yourself, compare your journey to others, or define your worth by another person's attention, you create unnecessary emotional burdens. Instead, choose to build habits that strengthen your confidence. Spend time learning new skills, pursuing meaningful goals, caring for your physical and mental well-being, and investing in friendships and family relationships that uplift you. A full and purposeful life makes you less dependent on one specific outcome and more open to the many opportunities life can offer. Confidence that grows from personal growth is lasting because it is based on who you are rather than on circumstances beyond your control. As you continue to imagine positive conversations and hopeful possibilities with your specific person, remember that your imagination should inspire growth rather than replace action. If an opportunity arises to communicate honestly and respectfully, embrace it. If there are misunderstandings, approach them with patience instead of assumptions. If you recognize areas where you need to improve, accept them with humility and a willingness to grow. The strongest relationships are built by two people who are both committed to becoming better versions of themselves. Love flourishes where there is mutual respect, open communication, and emotional responsibility. There is something deeply attractive about a person who is at peace with themselves. They do not seek constant validation because they already know their worth. They are able to celebrate another person's success without feeling threatened. They can handle challenges without allowing fear to control every decision. They understand that love is not about possession but partnership, not about perfection but progress. Becoming this kind of person does not happen overnight, but every small step matters. Every time you choose forgiveness over resentment, patience over panic, or confidence over insecurity, you strengthen your character and create a healthier emotional foundation for every future relationship. So let today be the day you stop measuring your progress by whether someone else has reached out and start measuring it by the person you are becoming. Focus on building a life filled with purpose, integrity, kindness, and emotional balance. Continue nurturing hopeful thoughts, but pair them with meaningful actions that reflect the values you believe in. When you become the kind of person you have always hoped to meet, you not only prepare yourself for a deeper and more authentic relationship, you also discover a sense of peace and fulfillment that no one can take away. The greatest transformation begins within, and as you grow into your best self, you become ready to welcome relationships that are rooted in mutual love, respect, and genuine connection. Trust the process and take real-world action as we come to the final keynote. It is important to remember one simple truth. Your inner world and your outer actions work best when they support each other. It is valuable to nurture hopeful thoughts, imagine positive conversations, and develop a mindset rooted in confidence and peace. But meaningful relationships are not built by imagination alone. They grow through honest communication, mutual respect, consistent effort, and the willingness of two people to choose each other freely. Trusting the process does not mean sitting back and expecting life to unfold without participation. It means preparing yourself internally while remaining open to taking thoughtful, respectful action when the opportunity arises. Real love is not about forcing an outcome or trying to control another person's choices. It is about becoming emotionally ready for the relationship you hope to build and responding wisely when life presents the chance. There may be moments when you feel impatient. You might wonder why things aren't taking longer than you expected, or question whether your efforts are making any difference. During those moments, remind yourself that growth often happens quietly before it becomes visible. Just as a seed develops beneath the soil long before anyone sees the first green leaf, emotional maturity often grows within you before it appears in your relationships. Every time you choose patience over panic, hope over fear, and understanding over assumptions, you are strengthening qualities that will benefit every connection in your life. Even if circumstances do not change overnight, you are changing, and that transformation is valuable in itself. Trust also means accepting that every healthy relationship involves two independent people, each with their own experiences, emotions, and decisions. You cannot control another person's thoughts or feelings, and trying to do so only creates frustration. What you can control is how you communicate, how you treat others, and how you respond to life's uncertainties. When you focus on these areas, you reclaim your peace instead of giving it away to circumstances beyond your control. This mindset allows you to approach relationships with confidence rather than desperation and curiosity rather than fear. Taking real-world action is just as important as maintaining a healthy inner dialogue. If an opportunity arises to have an honest conversation, approach it with kindness and authenticity. Listen as much as you speak. Express your feelings clearly without expecting someone to read your mind. If misunderstandings occur, seek clarity instead of making assumptions. If the relationship requires patience, Give it room to grow naturally. Healthy communication is built on openness, empathy, and respect. These practical actions are often what turn hopeful intentions into meaningful experiences. It is equally important to continue investing in your own life while relationships develop. Pursue your goals, strengthen your friendships, care for your physical and emotional well-being, and continue learning and growing. A fulfilling life does not depend on one person, it is built through many meaningful experiences. When you live with purpose, you become more emotionally resilient and less likely to define your worth by another person's attention. Ironically, this inner stability often creates stronger and healthier relationships because you approach them from a place of wholeness rather than neediness. As you move forward from this message, carry these lessons with you every day. Choose inner conversations that encourage hope instead of fear. Imagine relationships based on mutual respect, kindness, and genuine understanding. Replace negative assumptions with balanced and compassionate thinking. Commit yourself to becoming the person you would be proud to meet. And when life offers opportunities to connect, communicate with honesty, courage, and respect. Whether your journey with your specific person unfolds exactly as you hope or leads you toward an unexpected and fulfilling path, the work you have done within yourself will never be wasted. Remember, the most meaningful transformation begins in the quiet moments when no one else is watching. It begins with the thoughts you choose, the values you live by, and the actions you take each day. Trust the process, remain open to growth, and allow love to develop through mutual care, sincerity, and shared effort. A healthy relationship is never built on fear or control. It is built on trust, authenticity, and two people willingly choosing to walk forward together. When your inner peace is matched by your real-world actions, you create the strongest possible foundation for lasting love, genuine connection, and a future filled with hope.